When she took over in December of 2022, she made history as the first female to hold the office. I'm delighted to be joined today by the 43rd Los Angeles City Attorney, Hydee Feldstein Soto. So nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
How exciting to take this office knowing that you have just opened the door for so many people in the future. Did you really feel that when you took over, that being the first woman in office was going to make a difference?
I did. It felt like a lighter office for a change. I have focused on workplace safety, on making the office a more attractive place to come in, on the internal reorganization of the office to have an executive leadership team that looks like Los Angeles. And I think that all of those priorities were in part because of my background and who I am.
It is such a large office. Can you kind of consolidate what some of the sincere day-to-day operations are?
Yes, I put my job in 3 buckets.
Okay.
Bucket 1. Management and administration of a workforce that's close to 1,000 employees, with lawyers and paralegals and hearing officers and investigators and a business office and all that goes with managing that big a corporate body. The second bucket I put it in is practicing law, and that's everything from representing the city of Los Angeles, all interpretations of state and federal law and how they affect our city rest with my office. All advice, Brown Act advice, political advice, ongoing advice on how to get something done for the hundreds of boards and commissions of the city, as well as for 17 other elected officials, rests with my office. And the prosecution of misdemeanors committed by adults within the city of Los Angeles, where the people of the state of California, as opposed to the city of Los Angeles, is the client. But that all rests with my office. I'm the general counsel to the Los Angeles World Airports, the general counsel to the Los Angeles Harbor and Port, and the general counsel to the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. All of the departments from animal services to the zoo and everything in between, like Public Works, Planning and Land Use, Housing, Department of Cultural Affairs. Whatever the city does, we touch it in some manner. The last piece of the job, the third bucket, that I haven't paid as much attention to over the last year, because I've really been focused on getting my arms around the office, is being an elected official and making sure that as an elected official, I'm responsive to the needs of my constituents, responsive to the needs beyond just city government, and sponsoring legislation in Sacramento that will hopefully help our city moving forward, doing the outward-facing task of the office. And that's hopefully going to be my focus in this next year.
I was trying to do a little bit of my due diligence, so I had a bit of an understanding. So there's a municipal branch, civil litigation, criminal, real estate, public rights. That's a lot of territory to cover.
Yes.
So the municipal part of it, that's pretty straightforward. That's, we want to build something. How do we?
That's actually, if we want to build something like real estate, that's going to be in the real estate branch.
Okay. But municipal is contracts.
Well, yes, it's contracting. It's procurement for the city. So if what you're going to do is look for an IT consultant and you want to run a request for proposals to comply with the competitive bidding procedures of the city charter, that all flows through the municipal branch.
Okay.
We are also staffing all of the commission meetings. If you look at city council, there's one of my lawyers in front. That's true for all public hearings across the city. And most of those are staffed out of the municipal branch. We do a lot of large projects in public works with the Board of Public Works. We represent the Department of Sanitation. That's a lot of regulatory and compliance work as well. And so it is anything that isn't really in court.
Okay. And then you said, with the civil litigation part of it, those are the personal injury against the city, and there was a backlog and you've consolidated that.
Yes.
Okay. And then criminal, that's anything?
It is prosecution of adult misdemeanors in the city.
It's like vandalism.
Yes, and the three largest categories, buckets, if you will, are domestic violence, DUIs, and guns. Unregistered guns, violence, brandishing a weapon. When these matters aren't prosecuted by the district attorney as a felony because they don't rise to the level of a felony, they didn't actually cause injury to a person, my office will pick it up and prosecute it as a misdemeanor if it's within city limits and committed by an adult.
There's so many specific things I want to get into, but just in general, like you said, real estate, that's contract if we're going to build something, especially with, I would imagine, the homeless efforts to house.
Yes, but it's also, I mean, it's leasing in circumstances where the Mayor's Inside Safe program has been leasing things. It's tenants' rights, and we're looking to devote a lot of resources to that in this upcoming year, assuming we have the budget for it. It is planning and land use. It is housing and all of the affordable housing financing, the distribution of the Triple H money. There's a number of factors that go into real estate. If it touches, it's city-owned property and ground leases. If it touches land or it touches buildings, it's in the real estate branch.
Okay, and then finally, public rights.
Public rights is something I'm very proud of. We've taken all of the civil prosecution out of the criminal branch where it used to be and put it in its own department. That takes the advantage of we are able to use Sacramento's authority under 17200 to subpoena and investigate potential civil actions in the area of consumer protection, environmental justice, nuisance abatement, just about any kind of regulatory violation that hurts the public. We bring those actions.
Your office is also, gone after a pretty dramatic situation. You've been tackling sex trafficking.
I have, within the city limits, and we focused our efforts for now on the South Figueroa corridor. And we've also focused primarily on the traffickers and the customers or johns of minors. And if you look at the foster care youth system and the dependency courts, all too often the result is that a child is either defrauded, seduced, or coerced into sex work. And it's that kind of violence and that kind of crime that we're really going after.
What are some of your hopes and goals for the city attorney's office while you are in office, and what have you been really proud of so far?
When I leave office, whether that's after 4 years or 8 years, I hope to leave behind an institution that has functioned as one. I hope to leave a legacy of fixes with legislation and ordinances that work. I hope to have shut down many of the pathways to corruption that have been identified at City Hall and have implemented processes that are transparent, open, and efficient for those who do business in and with our city. And if I can accomplish that, I did my job.
Well, it sounds like you're on the right track, that's for sure. So if people want to learn more about the city attorney's office and more about what you're doing, what's the best approach?
Please go to the website, which is cityattorney.lacity.gov, or call our Community Law Corps hotline, which is 213-978-7878.
Thank you so much, Hydee. I really appreciate your time. This has been spectacular. I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you so much, Maria, and I look forward to coming back.
And that's a wrap on this LA Currents.